Welcome back to Recap Spot. Today we'll be recapping a comedic superhero movie called The Suicide Squad. The movie opens with a villain named Savant as he throws a ball at a bird and kills it. A woman named Amanda Waller soon walks into his cell and tells him that he's being chosen to join the Suicide Squad, a team of supervillains that do missions for the US government in order to take some time off their sentence. We see Savant getting a brain implant injected into him, which will detonate if he disobeys Amanda or tries to abandon his team.
Good dog.
He then joins up with Colonel Rick Flag, the commanding officer of the Suicide Squad, as well as Captain Boomerang, Blackguard, Mongol, Javelin, TDK, Weasel, and Harley Quinn, the other members of the team. Everyone boards a plane and gets ready to head for a mission.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
As the other employees at the prison start betting on who's going to die, until Amanda comes in and breaks them up. Once their group gets to their drop point, they jump into the ocean and prepare to swim to an island. However, Weasel can't swim and ends up drowning. When they all make it to the beach, Blackguard stands up and begins yelling at the soldiers on the beach, revealing that he's actually double-crossed the team and sold them out. Blackguard approaches the soldiers, but ends up getting shot in the face, starting a firefight between the squad and the soldiers. Members of the team begin dying left and right, which freaks Savant out, and causes him to try and abandon the team and swim out into the ocean.
Turn back.
Amanda sees him trying to desert the mission and warns him not to, but he doesn't listen and ends up having the implant in his head exploded. We hear that all of the soldiers are occupied on the south side of the beach, so Team 2 is ready to go on the north side of the beach.
Team 2 is clear to go on the North Beach.
And Amanda says congratulations to a man named Bloodsport. We then see Bloodsport and the rest of his Suicide Squad walking up on the beach with no enemies in sight. The movie then cuts to a flashback 3 days earlier, and we see Bloodsport cleaning toilets and scrubbing the floors of the prison.
Here you go, champ.
Amanda asks Bloodsport about joining the Suicide Squad, but he tells her no. Amanda then tells him he has a visitor, and Bloodsport goes and visits with his daughter, who got arrested for stealing a watch. Amanda then threatens Bloodsport and tells him that if he doesn't join the squad, then his daughter will join this prison instead of Juvie for stealing the watch. Bloodsport rages and threatens Amanda with a pen. However, she's eventually able to convince him to join the team as its leader. Amanda then introduces him to the rest of the team.
Good. Let's meet your team.
He first meets Peacemaker, and the two butt heads because they have similar skills. But Peacemaker insists that he does everything better. They then meet King Shark, who is a large shark man with a taste for human flesh. Next up is Cleo, also known as Ratcatcher 2, who can control rats. Lastly, they meet Polka Dot Man, who throws polka dots at people, and the other team members make fun of his ability.
Polka dot, man.
The group is given a debriefing and learns that their mission is in Corto Maltese, where President General Silvio Luna and Mayor General Suarez are trying to take control of the country through military force. Their actual task is to infiltrate a secure bunker in Corto Maltese called Jotunheim and destroy something called Project Starfish. They're told that their first step is to contact the Thinker, who's in charge of Project Starfish. Amanda warns the group that Project Starfish is believed to be extraterrestrial, but the team doesn't really know what they're getting themselves into, and we see them arriving on the beach 3 days later. We then cut back to Harley Quinn, who's trying not to die in the big battle on the beach. She goes near Javelin, and he gives her his weapon before dying next to her. However, Harley is captured before she can do anything else.
He just told me I have to carry this javelin for a reason.
We then see Rick Flag running through the forest trying to escape, when he's surrounded by a group of people and presumably captured. Bloodsport and the team decide to sleep in the forest and take on the Thinker in the morning. However, during the night, they get woken up by noises from Polka Dot Man. Bloodsport then notices King Shark getting ready to eat Ratcatcher, so he shoots him several times and accuses him of betraying the team. When Ratcatcher finds out that she was nearly eaten in her sleep, she gets mad and summons a swarm of rats to threaten King Shark. However, Bloodsport starts to freak out and everyone figures out that he's scared of rats. Amanda then contacts the group and tells them that they need to rescue Rick before they continue with the rest of their mission, and she sends them his location. When the group gets to the village where Rick is, they completely decimate everyone there, and Bloodsport and Peacemaker compete over who's better at killing. They finally get to the cabin where Rick is being kept, only to realize that he wasn't captured. He was actually saved by Sol Soria and her freedom fighters that are resisting Luna and Suarez, and all of the people the squad just killed were actually good guys.
What the hell are you doing here?
Sol is fuming and reluctant to keep working with the Suicide Squad, but Rick is able to convince her that they're her only hope for fighting off their corrupt government. The movie then cuts to the Thinker as he meets with General Suarez and Luna, and explains Project Starfish to them. He shows the footage of astronauts finding a starfish alien in space and bringing it onto their ship, where it eventually took over them and made them part of a hive mind. Controlling the astronauts like this also makes the starfish grow in size. General Suarez says that he wants to release the alien in the US, but Luna says he has an even better plan that will make everyone take them more seriously. We then cut to Harley, who's been captured and is being dressed up in order to go meet with Luna. Harley is instantly smitten with Luna, and he tells her that her fire and rebellion has made her a hero in his country, so marrying her would make him even more popular with the people. The two end up kissing and wrecking the room while sleeping together. Afterward, Luna tells her about the beast in Jotunheim, and how he wants to feed his enemies' kids to it if they don't fear and obey him. Harley sees this as a red flag and shoots him dead, leading to her quick arrest.
You were real pretty and well.
With Luna dead, General Suarez becomes president. The film then cuts back to the Suicide Squad as they head into the city, but they see Polka Dot Man with a dot rash all over his face, and begin to question him about if he's contagious. He tells them about how his mother experimented on him as a child, and if he doesn't expel his polka dots at least twice a day, then he'll die. On a bus ride into the city, we learn that Ratcatcher's dad was the one who built the technology she uses to control the rats, but he died afterward, and she moved to America for a fresh start. Bloodsport then tells her about his abusive father, who locked him in a crate full of starving rats for a whole day. The two bond, and promise each other that they're going to both make it out of the mission alive.
You remind me of my daughter.
They eventually get to a club that the Thinker frequents, and begin escorting him outside so he can help them get into Jotunheim. Just then, soldiers barge into the club looking for Americans, and order everyone to show them their IDs. Rick, Bloodsport, and Peacemaker surrender, which buys Ratcatcher and Polka Dot Man enough time to escape with the Thinker. As Bloodsport, Peacemaker, and Rick are all captured in a truck, they attack their guards and are able to escape. Rick learns that Harley is captured, and decides that the squad will rescue her. We then cut to Harley, and see her being tortured. However, she's eventually able to fight her way through her attackers and escape. When she finally does escape, she ends up running into the Suicide Squad right outside the building, as they were all preparing to come in and rescue her. The squad threatens the Thinker, and he helps them get into Jotunheim. Ratcatcher uses her rats to disable the cameras, but security is still alerted when the squad enters Jotunheim, and begins placing bombs on the walls.
Peacemaker!
Meanwhile, Sol Soria and her resistance rush into General Suarez's mansion to keep him occupied. Rick, Ratcatcher, and the Thinker find cages full of people under the control of the starfish, and Rick and Ratcatcher are horrified. Rick is disgusted, but the Thinker tells him that the US government was the one behind all of this, and that the astronauts that originally found Starro, the alien starfish, were American. Rick doesn't believe him, but the Thinker tells him that the only reason the squad was sent here was to cover up America's involvement with Project Starfish, because the military coup going on in the country was threatening the project's secrecy. Rick is disgusted by his government, and decides to try and steal the information about the project and give it to the press, but Peacemaker threatens him because he thinks they should still serve Amanda.
This isn't personal.
While they argue about what they should do, the bombs from earlier go off too soon and knock everyone unconscious. Ratcatcher wakes up first and sees that Starro is trying to break free, so she makes a run for it. The Thinker gets snatched by Starro and torn in half. Rick and Peacemaker both wake up and begin to fight for the hard drive. However, the fight ends when Rick is stabbed by Peacemaker and killed.
What a joke.
Ratcatcher ends up snatching the hard drive and running until she's knocked down by Peacemaker. Right when it seems like Peacemaker is going to kill Ratcatcher, the movie cuts to a flashback from 8 minutes earlier. Bloodsport, Harley, and Polka Dot are making their way through the building when Polka Dot Man drops some bombs and gets attacked by soldiers. He then uses his polka dots and sets off the bombs, which causes the building to collapse. King Shark was messing around with some fish creatures he found when the building exploded, and ends up getting attacked by them, but he manages to survive. He is then surrounded by soldiers that he tears and bites through in order to survive. Bloodsport ends up finding Peacemaker as he's about to kill Ratcatcher, and the two shoot at each other at the same time. However, Bloodsport uses a smaller bullet that shreds through Peacemaker's bullet and kills him.
Kill Cardinal Black.
Ratcatcher fills Bloodsport in about the US being behind Project Starfish, and that hard drive has proof. Starro then bursts free from the building's rubble and releases tons of little starfish that begin mind-controlling people. Back in the General's mansion, the Resistance bursts through the doors and kills all of the leaders there, which gains them control of the Corto Maltese government. Amanda sees footage of Starro destroying the city and orders for the Suicide Squad to retreat. However, the squad decided to ignore her and help the innocent people. Amanda goes to detonate the bombs in the squad's heads. However, her crew decides to knock her out and help the squad take down Starro. Bloodsport orders the squad to attack Starro,
Harley, take the high ground.
and Polka Dot Man ends up getting squashed to death. Ratcatcher is almost crushed too, but Bloodsport manages to save her. Harley runs up to stab Starro in the eye with a javelin, but she ends up going inside of the creature's eye. Ratcatcher then orders a huge swarm of rats to go after Starro, and they end up joining Harley inside of Starro's eye and killing it. Footage of the incident is aired on the news, and Bloodsport's daughter sees her dad being a hero on TV. Bloodsport calls Amanda and makes a deal with her that they'll keep Project Starfish a secret if Amanda will set them all free and promise not to kill any of them. And Amanda agrees. We then see the squad getting airlifted home after successfully completing their mission. And Bloodsport conquers his fear of rats when one of Ratcatcher's rats comes and sleeps on him. Before the film ends, we see Weasel wash up on the beach, alive and confused, before wandering off. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more.